The most annoying thing in Satisfactory is having the miners not fit to the world grid change my mind. They always seem to be just that little bit off, but it's so annoying. It just drives me insane. So, what is the solution if you do want to center the miner on a foundation and have it so that the output is centered as well? Well, we're going to cover that today. And the great thing is, all your friends are gonna be jealous because I'm gonna show you how to do this and more. The first thing though, we need to understand the basic concept, and I've talked about this in previous videos before. So what we're going to do is place down a miner. Now I am in creative mode, so I am going to turn the power off. We don't need to see the materials. And from here, if we place down a foundation on the world grid, you can see it's off. So what we're going to do is first cover how we can center the output on a foundation, and then how we can get it at world grid level, and then we're going to talk about how we can merge it to the world grid, which I've already talked about in a recent video, but a lot of people have been coming into my streams and asking about that, so I thought we should probably cover it here as well, so that you guys, if you haven't seen it, will know. So how do we do this? First of all, you're going to need a barrier, and you're going to have to hold control whilst you're placing it on the front of the miner. I've held it in place and you can see it's dead center, and then from here we can place our foundation against it. It will snap into place, and if you press H, we can then nudge it using the left and right keys so that it is in the center, and then we can remove the barrier and connect it. Connect the conveyor to the foundation. Now, before any of you write down in the comments that this isn't the world grid, I know, do not worry, we're going to talk about that in a moment. The important thing though is understanding the concept here for this miner and how we centralize that output. From here, we're going to remove this, and then we're going to rebuild it. This time, when we place it, we are going to place it onto the world grid, and the way that we do this is we're going to grab our foundation, we're going to hold Control, and now we can place down our miner. Now this little tip was given to me by Little Bits. They're a new streamer over on Twitch. I highly recommend checking them out. But the great thing about this, let me just turn that now off, is we now know that we're at the right height to be on the world grid. If we were to place this directly on the floor, you can see this is a different height, clearly. And the same with if we were to just place a foundation down and then put the miner on there. This is a different height, ever so slightly as well, as you can see here. Now, I don't know why it never occurred to me to do this, but by placing it on foundations on the world grid first, you can then delete the foundations. We can add the barrier, like we did before, followed by our foundation, and we can move that across so that it's in the center, and like so, we now have a central output for our miner, allowing me to at least get a little bit of sleep tonight. But you may be right if you're about to say, that's all well and good, but it's not in line with the world grid. And so if we pull it across here, you can see it's not quite there. It's almost, but not quite there. Now there are two solutions. The first one is by using the straight build mode. We can curve it at 90 degrees, and this is going to allow us to immediately pull it across and snap to the world grid. However, sometimes that doesn't work. I should also mention, if you are having a little bit of trouble with the world grid, like this, the straight build tool, because sometimes it can do some really weird, funky stuff. My recommendation would be to place the output side first, and then connect the world grid, connect the input side to the output. It tends to fix it. Anyway, moving on from that bit, what if you actually want to merge these two grids together so that you can go quite cleanly from one section to another? Well, that is doable. So if we go with these two pieces, this is the tip that I showed the other day, by the way, on my tip on how to build curves, as well as some other tips such as lighting, barriers, and merging. I'll put a link to that video, by the way, so that you can check it out if you haven't already. But from here, we can place a beam. In fact, I should do that again and show you. Place a beam on the edge that you want to be flush against another foundation, and in freeform mode we're going to bring this across to the other edge that we want them to be paired with. From here we can snap a foundation to the beam, and we're going to go to the left 4 slots, and then we're going to go up 4 I think that was 3 slots. Normally it's 4, like so. And we'll do the same on the other side as well. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then up 1, 2, 3, 4. And if we luck, you can see that this is flush, and this is, well, it's a clean cut. And the same over here. This is flush, and this is a clean cut. And then we're just going to merge these together. Normally, we can just bring this across. If you're using, here's a good example of the straight mode. It doesn't like to be moved off the vertices of the world grid, I think that is. So it'll snap over here fine, but if you're trying to do it diagonally, it really doesn't like it. So what we're going to do is place our straight line along this section. It's like doing a bracer track on a train line, but we're going to go from this section to here because this wants to snap to the world grid. And then from here you can do the connection here. So it's just about finding the pieces. It is a little bit wibbly wobbly. So what we're going to do instead is use the default build mode. So we're going to grab this. We're going to select the default build mode by pressing or holding R. And we're just going to bring it to the center here. We're going to run this across to the center. What you can do, if you're struggling to find the right placement, you can place a foundation next to it and then delete the one that you're on so that it's not covered, and then replace it. And then from here, we can work out how we want to bring that together. So if we want to go straight mode, we'll start from this section and bring it across to there. And there you are, a pretty clean way to merge everything together from these miners. Also, you may not like the Z fighting here, so I do recommend using a different material. Concrete works quite well. Asphalt is probably the best one. So we can do it with this because you can't see any visible edges there. But there you are, guys. I hope you found it helpful. If you did, hit the thumbs up and remember to check my other build tips video for 1.0. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much to all of our amazing supporters on Patreon, notably our Lunar Eclipse patrons, Firefless, The Calamity, Ben and Star, and our Blood Moon of the Day, which today is Brain Slug. Until next time, as always, ciao for now.